The great Greek philosopher Plato was born in 427 BC in Athens, Greece, in a very noble family. His father Ariston boastfully traced his ancestry to the early kings of Athens, and Plato's mother, Perictyon, was a descendant of Solon, the famous lawgiver of Athens. Plato's original name was Aristocles, which in Greek language means best or renowned. But because of being broad-shouldered, he was nicknamed as Plato. And it was probably due to this nickname that he was destined to be immortalized as the most talked and written about philosopher since antiquity. As with many young boys of Hellas, Plato was probably taught by some of Athens' finest educators. The curriculum would have featured the doctrines of Cratylus and Pythagoras, as well as Parmenides. These probably helped develop the foundation for Plato's study of metaphysics and epistemology. Plato was known for his good looks and charming disposition. He excelled in the study of mathematics, rhetoric, music, and poetry. As a young man, Plato had nurtured political ambitions, but as a result of few incidents, he altogether changed his course in life. In his work, The Seventh Letter, presumed to be his autobiography, he admits that as a young man, I thought that the very moment I attained my majority, I should engage in public affairs, as politics and I were a fit match. But Plato witnessed two major events that set his course in life. One was the steep rise and the tragic fall of the legendary Greek philosopher Socrates. The other significant event was the Peloponnesian War between Athens and Sparta, in which Athens was miserably defeated and it lost all of whatever was left of its past glory and prestige. At the end of the Peloponnesian War, two of Plato's close relatives, Critias and Charmides, led a group of oligarchs who overthrew their stee's democracy and ruled as the notorious 30 tyrants, involving in all sorts of misrule for 9 months. They even asked Plato to join them. But Plato writes, their behavior was such that my blood boiled at it. For as I looked, I saw those men in a short time make the former democratic government seem like a golden age. After the end of 9 months, when this oligarchy of 30 tyrants was overthrown and democracy was restored, Plato briefly considered a career in politics. But the execution of Socrates in 399 BC soured him on this idea, and he turned to a life of study and philosophy. The unfair trial and the tragic execution of Socrates in 399 BC proved to be a real turning point in Plato's life. At that time, Plato was just 28 years of age, and being an apologist of Socrates, he was greatly shaken by the incident. In utter desperation, Plato left Athens for Megara and then went on to travel to Cyrene, Italy, Sicily, and even perhaps Egypt. While in Syracuse in 387 BC, he became the instructor to Dion, brother-in-law of the tyrant Dionysius I. At some later time, Dionysius became annoyed with Plato and tried to sell him into slavery. Somehow he escaped from Syracuse and conceded his failure in transforming a tyrant into a philosopher king. He returned back to Athens and eventually founded the academy, where he taught for the rest of his life.